Wind. Wind means vinegar. Aloe. Aloe means garlic. Use this Karan recipe. Avo is fun and frolic.
I'm so excited to bring you this recipe today from my Goan heritage. Today we're making vindaloo. Yes, you heard me right. The correct pronunciation is vindaloo, not vindaloo. Now this recipe actually came from the Portuguese. It's known that they carried pork with them on their long journeys to India, and to preserve the meat they added a combination of vin, that is wine vinegar, and alho, which is basically garlic. They combined these two ingredients to preserve the meat, and when they brought it over to Goa, of course the Goans added their own spices, and the vindaloo we know today was born. This recipe is very near and dear to my heart as it is my mother's recipe. The main ingredients in a vindaloo are Kashmiri chilies, vinegar, and garlic. Now before we go any further with this recipe, make sure that you're subscribed to my channel. I upload new videos every week, so make sure that you're subscribed so you're the first to see them. Also make sure to hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I upload a new video. Now let's get started. Here are all the ingredients we need to make a traditional vindaloo masala. Red Kashmiri chilies are king in my masala. I'm also going to use whole spices like cumin seeds and mustard seeds, peppercorns, turmeric, cinnamon, and cloves. I'm going to grind all of these spices together with fresh ingredients like ginger and garlic, and of course vinegar. Now let's start with these beautiful Kashmiri chilies. I've got 20 of these and I'm just going to clean and deseed these. Using a scissors makes this job a lot easier. I'm going to try and remove as many of these seeds as possible, as these seeds will water down that beautiful red color. Now many Goans use a mixture of Kashmiri chilies and spicier dried chilies in their vindaloo. By the way, you really should use gloves when you're handling these chilies, but I've done this so many times that I know better than not to rub my eyes for at least a few hours. I'm just finishing off the last of these and I'm going to move on to the ginger and garlic. I'm going to slice my ginger and garlic just to make it easier to process. My food processor is ready to go. I'm just going to cram all of my chilies into this food processor. I'm also going to pick all the bits and pieces as I don't want to waste any of this. I'm going to grind this coarsely, and then I'm going to add a 1-inch stick of cinnamon, 6 cloves, 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds, 1/4 teaspoon of black mustard seeds, 10 peppercorns, and a 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric. I'm going to take all of these dry spices and I'm going to grind this till it's a nice powder. Now my mom always ground her dry spices first, followed by her wet spices. I'm going to add my garlic and ginger. I've got 6 cloves of garlic and a 1-inch stick of ginger that I sliced earlier. I'm also going to add some vinegar. Vinegar is an important ingredient in a vindaloo masala. I've got a 1/4 cup here of Goa vinegar. I'm going to add half first and I'm going to process this. It's looking a little bit coarse, so I'm going to add the second half and I'm going to continue to process it. Now Goa vinegar is not easy to find, so if you cannot find it, you can just go ahead and substitute red wine vinegar or even malt vinegar. Both of those will work really well. This is looking good, but it's still kind of coarse, so I'm going to add some water just to finish it off till I get a nice smooth paste. Now if you're planning to use this masala for traditional vindaloo or you're making it with pork and you want this to last for a long time, avoid using water, use extra vinegar instead. Now, my hubby is not GOAN and he does not like a strong vinegar taste, so adding water works out great for me. I've got some chicken prepped and ready to go. Now traditionally this dish is made with pork, but these days vindaloo is available in a lot of different proteins. I'm going to add all of the prepared masala to the chicken, and this needs to be marinated and left in the fridge for 24 hours. I'm going to be using about 2.2 pounds, that's roughly about a kilo of chicken meat. I've chosen to use dark meat, that is chicken thigh bone that's cut into small pieces, and I'm using a combination of bone-in meat and chicken boneless thigh. I try to avoid using chicken breast as it gets very dry, and the whole purpose is to cook this low and slow, just like you would cook chunks of pork. I'm also going to puree 1 cup of red onion in the same food processor. Now this is going to ensure that it picks up all of that residue masala that's hiding under the blades. I'm going to store this in my fridge as well. After 24 hours, it's time to cook this vindaloo. I'm going to heat up some oil and I'm going to saute my onion paste. Now remember that this is red because I ground it in the same food processor that had my residual vindaloo masala paste. I'm going to cook this for a few minutes. I just want to get rid of all of that raw onion flavor. Next, I'm going to add all of the chicken and I'm going to scrape all of that masala right into the pot. Give it a really good stir, cover it and allow it to cook. Now vindaloo is very popular in Britain and it's presumed that aloo means potato and it's often served with potatoes. Now, although potatoes are pretty much good in everything, it's really not traditional in a vindaloo. I've added some water to the container and I'm going to add this to my saute pan. This is going to prevent burning. Let me mix this in really well. Add salt to taste. Cover and cook. Now I'm going to cook this low and slow for 30 to 40 minutes till my chicken is nice and tender. Add more water as the gravy starts to thicken. Please note that the consistency when you cook chicken versus pork is very different. Pork releases a lot more water and fat, and hence the gravy is more runny, and you will always see a film of red oil on the surface. Taste for salt and add salt as required. My vindaloo is ready. Look at that luscious red color, and you can see a film of oil just a little bit floating at the top. As I mentioned before, chicken does not contain a lot of fat. Now I know you want to dive into this vindaloo right away, but it's really advised that you leave this in the refrigerator for another 24 hours before you eat it. A traditional vindaloo is meant to be almost pickled. This is where all of that vinegar and spices get right into the meat, and it really does taste better the next day. I really hope you enjoyed this traditional and delicious recipe for vindaloo. Of course, I've made this with chicken, but you can make this with pork or even mutton. This will be your family favorite, I promise you. Make sure that you're subscribed to my channel. I upload new videos every week. So make sure that you're subscribed, share it with your family and friends. Don't forget to hit the little bell icon so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. And make sure that you follow me on all of my social channels. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, and even Snapchat. I upload a ton of footage there, so make sure that you're subscribed so you can join in on the fun. Until I see you next time, take care.